Associations WATA and NANDUWE in Soweto. Gauteng Transport MEC Ismail Vadi decided to close the taxi ranks and routes operated by the two associations following continued violence. 4 lives have been lost and others have been left injured. Yesterday, the NANDUWE West Taxi Association NANDUWE and the Witwatersrand Taxi Association WATA made an undertaking to Vadi that they've reached an agreement. The National Taxi Alliance, which both associations belong to, has denied that carrying on with operations would be defying the MEC. But for now, it's the commuters that will bear the brunt. They have been advised by the Transport Department to make alternative travel arrangements. The routes will be closed from today until the 15th of June. Let's follow up on the route and rank closures of 2 warring taxi associations in Soweto. This after the Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC Ismail Vadi announced the closure on Wednesday. The closure is supposed to be effective from today and will be in place for 3 months. Our reporter Lopang Alamu is out there monitoring the taxi ranks. Let's cross live to her. Very good morning to you, Lopang. What is it looking like out there?
Well, a very good morning to you, Desiree, and to our viewers. Well, it seems that commuters have heeded the call and actually listened to the MEC, who asked them to arrange alternative transport for them to get to work and to school this morning. We got here around 6 a.m. and there were not really much queues and only a couple of people who were stranded. Probably 15 people that we saw being stranded, but they got onto the next bus that they saw. We also spoke to the 2 taxi associations who say they assumed, rather, after yesterday's agreement, that the MEC would allow them to operate today. But word from the office of the MEC is that he has received the proposed agreement and he will look into it. But for now, the road closure remains the same. We spoke to some of the taxi associations, NANDUWE, saying that they're very disappointed. They would have loved to go onto the road today. We know that almost 5,000 taxis are affected. This is almost 100,000 people who use these routes. 6 taxi ranks. We had one here in Mansfield and in Dube, rather, where the taxi rank behind us is not operational. We also know that the police earlier on impounded just under 10 vehicles that were illegally taking commuters and also forcing basically their way onto working here. But so far, no arrests have been made, and as I said, just only taxis that have been impounded. And well, we're just waiting to hear from the MEC what he says about the agreement that was signed yesterday. But also not much is being said about the cases that these taxi associations are facing. We know that people have died, 4 murders that have been reported, destruction of property, also commuters who have been caught in the crossfire and have been injured. Those are the issues that really need to be paid attention to. But they're saying that for now they're just worried about staying on their own lanes. So basically this was an ongoing battle between lanes and routes, and they've promised to sort their differences out. But for how long will that happen? Because the MEC says if he can give them 3 months to think things through and to act accordingly, and this is also some sort of a punishment, just because they were not adhering to the regulations given to them by the department. The associations are saying that this is already hitting them heavy in the pocket. It's only day 1 of the 3-month road closure, so it's yet to be seen if the MEC will change his mind. But for now, we know that police have been patrolling around the 6 taxi ranks that have been closed, and not much activity has been happening. As I said as well, that people have really taken the call and have found alternative transport for themselves.
Lopang, do we know the specific terms of the 3-month closure? Are there any milestones that the association are supposed to meet as they go along that will soften the stance of the MEC?
Well, the agreement that was reached yesterday by the two associations is something that should have happened way before he decided to close the roads. So that is the problem, the fact that they were unable since January to reach an agreement to ensure that no more violence takes place. But because they were not able to reach an agreement then, they only signed the agreement yesterday around 6 p.m. That was already too late for the MEC to make any decision. And you know, they get to see that the Department of Transport was actually really serious. They're saying they're disappointed because they assumed that after having signed the agreement, then the roads would have been open. But the roads are still closed, and there's nothing that they can do at this point, honestly speaking, but to wait for the MEC to make his decision. They've signed the agreement, that's fine, but what is the MEC saying about it? Is the Department of Transport happy with the agreements that have been laid out in what was signed yesterday?
You say you spoke to NANDUWE. How is this going to affect their employees, especially the drivers, in terms of their job prospects?
Well, the drivers were instructed to get onto their taxis and to start working today, but their taxis were impounded, and they're complaining of the fact that they transport thousands of people who have to get to work, people who have got to go to school, some have job interviews. All that was said to us, and very interestingly, the spokesperson for NANDUWE also saying that elections are coming up and people need to go to Home Affairs to fix their IDs. You know, just so many things that they spoke about, but also not speaking about the fact that the violence is what caused this in the first place. Yes, it's unfortunate that the commuters are the ones that are bearing the brunt, but it's necessary at this point to ensure that the ongoing violence does not happen again. So the MEC did acknowledge the fact that he received the agreement. He's going to study it thoroughly, and the department will then make a decision. Yes, it's hitting hard on their pockets, but I guess it's a lesson learned, because the ongoing violence has affected so many people, so many commuters as well who've been affected by this. We know that at times there have been shootings where commuters were in the taxi as well, so that endangers a lot of people's lives.
Lapang Lamu, thank you so much for that update from Soweto.